right, folks, most recent All-American at 157 pounds. On the show today, we have Trevor Chumbley from Northwestern. Trevor, welcome to the show, folks. This is BEG Wrestling. We are here. And Trevor, how you doing, man? How you feeling after this most recent NCAAs?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on here. I'm excited to be here. Watch the show a few times, so definitely pumped to be on it. But yeah, I'm feeling good. Just coming off cloud nine a little bit still, kind of back to normal. But it's been a whirlwind of a couple of weeks, but it's been awesome. So.
No, I can imagine. Folks, I failed to mention we also have Dom Zacconi here, newest BEG host. He's here to help me co-host, and actually was able to get Trevor on the show. So, Dom, welcome to the show, and I don't know, you know Trevor a little bit from your past, right?
Well, let's go. Yeah, me and Trev used to scrap back in the day a little bit. Who haven't I wrestled? That's the real question. Nah, I'm just kidding. But Trev, 20, what was it? What seed were you again going into that tournament?
I was the 20 seed.
The 20th seed.
20th
wow.
seed. Yep. All the
way through, getting fourth place. Yeah. And what you knocked off Hippolito was the 4 seed in your path before losing to Joey Blaze, who made the finals only 4-2. Then knocking off Zurban and then facing Kazak for the 3rd place match, man. What was like your whole NCAA overall experience, I guess, would be my first question.
Yeah. I feel like I've talked about it a little bit, and as the days go on, I feel like the more I just feel blacked out from that whole weekend. It's a crazy weekend every year, right? I mean, it's just like emotionally, physically draining, for everybody involved. But I mean, it was crazy. I think kind of going into it, I think I was the bad draw. I was surprised I kind of slipped all the way to 20th. I didn't have the best Big Ten tournament, which was definitely unfortunate, but I think it was what I needed at that time to kind of help propel me to the finish that I had. But I mean, I knew going in, seeing the path I had, you try not to look too far ahead and you take it one at a time. But even after conference, the tournament I had, I think I was confident that there was nobody in the country that I couldn't beat. There was obviously guys I lost to, but I don't think I had a match where I came off the mat and I was like, wow, that's a kid I can't beat. And I had wrestled, guys like Kasich at Big Tens and stuff, some of the better guys throughout the year. So I mean, the run was pretty crazy, right? I hadn't wrestled the Virginia Tech kid, but great match. Wrestled Fish at Vegas. So they're all matches I knew, that I could win. And the bracket kind of shaked out in a good way with Blaze beating Kasich. I had a couple wins over Blaze last year. Yep. So, I mean, definitely was in a pretty good spot. But, looking back, just grateful and thankful for all the people, that have helped me throughout my career and, supported me, especially, guys like Dom, right? We've known each other for a crazy long time. So it's pretty cool to have, full circuit moments like this.
Well, I was about to say, seeing, like, we know how good each other is, how good other wrestlers are. And, when this tournament, the NCAA tournament means everything to people, on paper. When you're an All-American, that means, you're some of the best of the best. So you see a lot of great wrestlers, just never All-American. But it also goes to show you that seeds don't matter at all. But yeah, talk me through that. Like, seeing good wrestlers, not All-American, and kind of now having that, what does that having that All-American status to your name kind of mean?
Yeah, definitely. I joke around with it a little bit with my high school coaches. I've been texting them, every day. One of my high school coaches, Sparty Chino, he was a 4-time qualifier at Ohio University a couple of years ago, a couple-time blood round guy, and I just sent him a text every day, All-American Trevor Chumbley, and bust his balls a little bit because I mean he's one of the best guys that I've wrestled with, and he doesn't have that All-American distinction. So it's definitely an honor, to have that next to my name for the rest of my life. But, yeah, like you said, man, there's some really freaking good guys that, ranked high every year, and at the end of the year, it's such a brutal tournament. Anybody can win in those 3 days, and I think it just it comes down to who's willing to die for it, and get gritty, and who wants it the most. But there's so many guys that are deserving of it, and it's just who comes ready to go and goes out there and takes it.
Yeah. No, Trevor, It's a combination of, you had a great combination, an epitome of your career that ultimately ended, in the pinnacle of an All-American status. I mean, I guess my question is, like, what is your overall wrestling experience, man? Before I even ask you what your future is, what's your biggest takeaway from wrestling overall up to this point in your life?
Yeah. I would say the biggest takeaway is just the people and the culture, the environment that you're in. I think from a young age, wrestling, one of our coaches when we were kids always said, use the sport of wrestling as a tool, don't let it use you. And I think that kind of stuck with me for my whole life. I mean, using it to get to a school like Northwestern, get the world-class education that I have, and I mean, just being surrounded by great people, throughout my career. I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but like guys like Dom, right? I mean, probably would have never met a guy like him if it wasn't for wrestling. Like our paths probably wouldn't have crossed. So I think just the people and the relationships that you create in sport, not only wrestling, but just in sports, it's so special. And I think now even moving into the next phase of life, you're reaching out to alumni, different people in your wrestling network to help move into the next phase of your life. So I think it's just the wrestling community is so special, and the relationships you get from it are it's just second to none. So definitely grateful for the relationships and just the people.
Well, I have to ask you to follow up on that real quick. I mean, you talk about the people. What made you choose Northwestern and coach, maybe specifically head coach Stornelio?
Yeah. I think coming out of high school, I was looking for something pretty similar to my high school, good culture, good people, strong academics. And I think Northwestern kind of being right in the backyard. I grew up going to the Midlands every year, watching the Midlands and stuff. And it was, kind of became a dream of mine to go there. And they had just hired Andrew Howe and Cody Brewer and Jimmy Kennedy were there when I was coming out of high school. So along with Coach Storniolo. So, I mean, just fantastic coaches. You can't really ask for a better group of guys there. And, when I took a visit here, I think the guys on the team were like family, and they were so close, and they immediately brought me in. And I think it was just kind of one of those things when and that coupled with the academics and being here right by Chicago, I think it was kind of a no-brainer, close to home. So, yeah.
Dom knows all about that.
Yeah. Hey, Trevor and his family, some of the best people, hands down to earth, I've ever met in my life. And not even that, kind of like the community you came from, and like I feel like we've always had, friendships throughout our wrestling community around our age and stuff like that, from Marmion all the way to Chicago area suburbs of just kind of great wrestlers that we have got to meet and build a connection with in Illinois. It's
definitely
crazy. But what's next, Trev? What we got going on next? What's for the future?
Yeah, so I'd like to still be involved in wrestling a little bit, right?
Okay. I
think I'd like to kind of help out at Marmion here once I kind of get situated, maybe in the next couple of years. But in the meantime, kind of do some camps and stuff like that, help out while I can, give back to the sport. It's given me a lot. But ultimately, I'm going to do something in the business world. I'm looking for some consulting, private equity jobs in the city here in Chicago. So I'll stay in Chicago. But that's kind of what's next on the horizon for me. Kind of figure that out the next couple months. Take some time to relax, recharge a bit, do some things that Dom, you know well, but that we couldn't have done before. Kind of the first real off season, right? So
right. Hey, have you been eating some good food or what?
I've been eating some good food. Yeah, I got to. I think I got to reel it back a little bit.
Yeah, well, you deserve it.
I think I've made. Yeah, I think I've had one home cooked meal, and I've ate out every other time.
There you go, man.
It's been a long 2 weeks. Yeah.
Well, listen, no, I got to ask you about your career path. You know, you're trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
And any thoughts? You know, we've heard rumors about what your father does or did for a living, and is that something maybe you want to tell us about, or something you considered doing?
Yeah. So my dad was in the Secret Service for 25 plus years. He was on President Bush's the later ones detail for 6 years. So yeah, so I grew up I was born here in Illinois, and then we moved out to DC when I was about one. Where I was out there for 6 years and then moved back here. So grew up going to holidays in the White House, you know, being in the Oval Office. Got a lot of pictures. Got some cool stuff from that for sure.
Get out of here.
A lot of pictures, not a lot of memories from it, but got to meet a few presidents, which is pretty cool. It was always something I wanted to do growing up. I'm not going to lie, but my dad definitely steered me away from that and steered me away from kind of any government job, I think. Just too crazy, and he's like, use your brain for something. You're at Northwestern. It's like you can make a whole lot more money doing something else. So in another life, I've always wanted to do something like that, and I think it'd be sick. But unfortunately, I think as of now, that's not the path. But who knows?
That is fascinating. Has he ever had you guys like watch some Netflix shows that are about some of those type of jobs at all together and like eat popcorn?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, he loves he's big on the crime show. So I mean, I grew up we grew up watching like in pretty much any crime show that you can name out there, any drama, anything like that, and just some badass army movies and stuff, you know, Lone Survivor, American Sniper, like all that good stuff. So you know, it's definitely something that's fascinating, and it's pretty sick. So
I love Mr. Chumbley. He's awesome. He's an awesome dude. Trev, now like growing up, and I mean, you could tell us like when you got started in wrestling, like him having that, you know, Secret Service background and kind of like I wouldn't say hardcore background, but more strict background. Did that affect you growing up in like your wrestling, and was it, you know, different compared to other teammates or kids you saw growing up?
Yeah, I think you know, just shout out my parents. I think they really raised us right, and they're just two of the most genuine people there are out there. I think kind of given my dad's background, I think it definitely played a role in sports and like in school and everything that I do. I think you know, every kid's probably taught right not to lie, not to cheat, do everything right. Do everything with honor, do it to your best of your ability. You know, the little details matter, all that stuff. And I think when you're a kid, you love your parents and you try to do everything like them, but sometimes, you know, dads in wrestling, you're like, you know, screw you, dad. And so I think it definitely took me probably to high school to like realize like how much of an impact he kind of had on me, and like the way that, you know, my work ethic and everything. Like I always knew I got it from my parents, but you know, I never really prided myself on it until like high school, I would say. And in college, I just, you know, you kind of realize how much you like your parents in a way. And I definitely owe them a lot of credit, and you know, very grateful for them in the way that they raised me. But
well, did your dad coach you at all? Because your dad wrestled also, right? At University of Northern Illinois, right?
Yeah, he did. He coached me up through 8th grade. At our kids club, SDN. Dom's probably a little familiar with that. We're out of
the
St.
barn.
Charles.
Did he coach you, Dom?
The barn, baby.
No, like I said, we were all connected. Like in Illinois, we had like we would go train with, you know, each other and wrestle and get invited to places and go wrestle on national teams. So like we've known each other very well.
Dom used to beat you?
Dom used to beat me up.
I used to be a mean little guy.
He was a mean guy, man. And then I got a little too big for him, so.
Yeah, wow. Now I love watching you wrestle. You know what I mean? Like the last few years has been awesome. Even in high school, it was weird because like Trevor became my inspiration. You know what I mean? Seeing him win state titles and stuff like that. So it was awesome watching Trevor wrestle.
Yeah,
it really was.
Trevor, you had the perfect end. It's such a special ending to your career, man. I have to ask you, like, what would you like to be remembered for at Northwestern now that your career is over?
Yeah, I think just being a guy that always gave it his all and always did the right thing. I think I did like a Big Ten on the mat series like a year or two ago, and I think it was kind of about my career being behind Yaya and Deacon for a couple years, and I think I think I learned a lot about myself, not being being a more of a highly recruited guy coming out and being on the bench for a couple years, but I'm grateful for those experiences and sticking it out and learning from guys like them. I think it taught me more about myself than any accomplishment has in wrestling. And I think, it when you face adversity and trying to, instead of going and just jumping ship, I think staying the course and trying to, figure out a way to accomplish your goals or find another way to do something is something that an experience that will teach you more about yourself than anything else. So I think just wanting to be remembered as always doing the right thing and just a guy that anyone can come to and always trying to do right by everyone.
Trevor, that's a decision that it seems like we're seeing less and less of now with the NIL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you, was NIL opportunities ever anything you ever considered or had a choice of at all, or nothing?
No, I don't think there was much of a. I honestly don't know if there was much of an option of it. I mean, I didn't have the best NCAAs the past couple of years. Not terrible, but I was always ranked decently high. But it was never something I thought about. I never did it for the money or anything. And I was fortunate enough to do my undergrad here at Northwestern in 4 years, and then not this past year, but last year I did my 5th-year master's in Kellogg, the business school. So I mean. I think the portal and stuff, it can be great, right? I think you're seeing a lot of different things on it, and it's interesting. It's a lot of you don't know anyone's background or their goals and stuff. So I mean, the portal can be great for a lot of guys, and sometimes people need a different environment, but it's definitely interesting and not something that I've ever really thought about, to be honest. I've loved it here, and I'm grateful for this place, the people, the coaches, I really think the support system here is second to none. I mean, just talk about nutrition and academic advisors, everything. I mean, it's the full package here at Northwestern.
So you didn't experience NIL, but you did experience COVID. Now, How did that COVID year impact your career?
Yeah. Well, honestly, in hindsight, it might be the best thing for me, right? Because if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have had this year. So obviously it was definitely a really challenging year for everyone, and it was a challenging year for us as athletes too. I mean, I think we were the only people. I'm not sure how it was other places, Dom. Maybe you could attest to it, but like here in Northwestern, the only people that were on campus were basically the athletes for that year, and we were all in kind of our own bubble. So it was kind of a couple months of just you and your team and stuff, and obviously we grew together like family even more than before, but it was a tough year, I think, for everybody. And I wasn't starting at that point either. I was still behind Yaya and Deacon, so I was just wrestling in the extra matches after the duel. So it was definitely weird, but I guess in the end I'm kind of grateful for it, because like I said, I mean, it got a lot of us a lot closer, and I was able to go out there and accomplish what I did this year as well.
Yeah.
How was it with the younger guys coming in the room? Because I always joke around about it here, but when we were starting college, these incoming freshmen were middle schoolers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did they help like push you at all, or were they just kind of there? Like how did it kind of work at Northwestern with having those guys coming in?
Yeah, no, we had a great freshman class this year. I think it's always so crazy, right? Like the older you get, the kind of like the more that age gap's different and the more the generations change a little bit. But I mean, we got a lot of really funny guys in that freshman class, and they, nothing but supportive, right? And great things to say. And I think it's cool because you get a chance. At one point you were that guy, right? I was a young guy when I'm watching, some of these older guys finish up their career, and they're a guy to look up to. Like I came in and Sebastian Rivera was, in his senior year and stuff. So it was cool to be that guy and realize that, like, hey, everything you do, you're under a microscope. These guys are watching you and trying to be like you, whether you know it or not. And they're just a good group of guys. They got a good set of heads on their shoulders, and they work hard. And there's some talented kids that the NCAA needs to watch out for in the next couple of years. That's for sure.
Any of them beat up on you a little bit at practice?
I wouldn't say beat up, but there's definitely some days, where for whatever reason you're just giving up some takedowns and you can't explain it. And
maybe
I'll give a shout out to Gunnar. I'll give a shout out to Gunnar Myers. He got a couple on me this year. He's a tough kid from Pennsylvania, about a 65, 57 pounder. He got a couple in, so he's a tough kid.
Gunnar Myers.
It's that age.
I think I got my
it's
fair
getting to
share
you.
back. So
that age is getting to you. It sounds like.
Yeah, I know. I'm slowing down. So.
Well, hey, man.
Well, speaking about slowing down, what did you say about?
Oh yeah, Trevor. Speaking about slowing down, I was talking with Dom before the interview, and I looked up your Instagram. A little bit of a stalker, right? But interview prep.
Oh yeah.
Certified speedster.
Uh-huh.
Does that mean you literally run fast? What's that mean?
No, this is actually a great story. I forgot that's even in there. So my roommate, actually, buddy, you guys Dom, you probably know him, but Frankie Talshahar, couple-time qualifier here at Northwestern. He unfortunately had to medically retire this year, but he's still around the team, and he's finishing up his master's this year. We live together, but it was kind of a funny story. I think this was like my junior year. He's a year younger than me, so his sophomore year, he was living with him and Max Mayfield, our 65-pounder. They were living with us in our house over the summer for like a summer training block, and he had it in his bio, and we were just like kind of going through it one night. We're all hanging out in the living room, and he's from Florida, and Florida guys are just they're just crazy. They come up with crazy.
They are
things,
crazy.
all kinds of stuff, and we just like somehow came across like he had certified speedster in his bio. So we kind of just started trolling him, and we all put it in our bio. And I honestly kind of just forgot it's in there. But now, like, whenever I'm out or like there's new people that are following me, like I always get asked about it, and like girls ask about it and stuff. So it's kind of funny. I'm just like, yeah, like I'll have to tell you that story another time. So
you just tell them.
In reality, it was just a troll of Frankie, but yeah.
You should
but
start
people think there's some
run
big
like a
story
3-minute
behind it,
mile.
but there's really not.
Yeah, just be like, you don't want to see how fast I can run.
I was fast back in the day. Yeah. So that's kind of a funny story behind it, but.
Dude, that's awesome. Wow.
So
well, now you're famous,
crazy
man. You
story
might have to go
behind it.
edit those profiles up a little bit, man. But listen, what do you do for fun in your fun time?
Yeah, I like hanging out with my buddies. I mean, we go down to the city a lot. There's all kinds of stuff to do there. We went to the Blackhawks game Friday night. So I mean, that was pretty cool. We've been trying to get out to a game for a while, but so busy. And then I mean, Cubs games and stuff in the spring, summer. Being down in Wrigley, there's not really anything better in the summer at Chicago. But yeah, I like going to the beach and stuff, hanging out with my friends, and kind of anything outdoors, really.
You a big Cubs fan?
I'm a big Cubs fan. They haven't been great recently, but I'm a Chicago sports fan for everything except for football. I'm a Packers fan, which is kind of crazy.
And a Packers fan. Wow, interesting.
Being Chicago. Yeah.
Wrigley Field.
Hey, he lives pretty close to Wisconsin, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not too far. Not too far.
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Going to Lambeau is pretty cool. If you haven't been there.
It is cool. It is
heck
cool.
of a stadium.
Yeah. So, Trevor, I just want to finish off, man. Like you said, like you want to stay with wrestling. Like, are you doing camps? What's immediately up next that the people can expect to see or hear from you?
Yeah, I just put out a graphic on my Instagram yesterday. Kind of just opened up my schedule for people to hit me up and do camps and stuff. So mostly just high school level down. And like I said, I'm gonna start trying to get back into the Marmion room here in a couple months and maybe a couple years, and eventually be on staff. But nothing competing wise. I'm done with my competition career, and I'm happy with the way I finished out stuff, and just looking to give back to the sport in any way I can. I mean, it's helped me so much in my life, and I'm just grateful for it.
We had a spectacular ending. Go ahead, Dom.
I'm sure we'll get him out here to North Carolina to run a few camps and up by you eventually too.
Oh, we're gonna be there.
We're
gonna be there, Trevor.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you live in person on camera, but yeah, man, spectacular ending to your career, man. Is that like the best place for people to follow you? People who want to follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram's perfect. That's pretty much honestly, the big social media platform that I have. I'm not too big on it, but yep, Instagram. T Chumbley 126. That's the handle.
T Chumbley.
We'll put it below.
We'll put it in the description, man. Is there anything else that maybe you want the people to know about you to leave us off on? Final thoughts.
Nope. I would just say any advice out there for people is just stay the course and always believe in yourself and always do your best. People are always gonna love you, and the sun's gonna come up the next day. So that's what I'll leave you with.
Trevor, your career is certainly a testament to that. And folks, Trevor Chumbley, the most recent All-American at 157 this year. Thanks for joining us, man. And stick around, folks. We got a Wrestling File story here, right? From Trevor Chumbley here. We'll be right back.